So while we're in this world of form and we're doing this ego trajectory, and that has us believing that we're bodies and separate from the divine, there are two ways to do this. Only two. So it makes it very simple and very clear on how to get home, how to transcend the dream. It's like railroad tracks that are happening all the time simultaneously. There's not usually ever one track. This isn't a monorail. This is regular railroad tracks. So we've got these two parallel paths that are always happening simultaneously. One is love, and that's the voice of what the Course in Miracles calls the Holy Spirit. And one is the ego, of what the Course in Miracles calls the voice for separation. And I want to kind of label what those are. The reason why so many people get off-put by the kind of really Christian terminology of A Course in Miracles, but A Course in Miracles came into this experience, inserted into this experience on purpose as a vehicle for awakening, because prior to A Course in Miracles coming into being, the Christian tradition or the ideas that people built up around Jesus have harmed a lot of people throughout linear time. There's been a lot of misnomer and a lot of things that have happened that have caused people to even fall further asleep and become further separated from each other. And so it speaks in those terms of awakening to kind of unravel that dream that when people were misperceiving what Jesus said the first time around when he was here in a physical body, to join everybody to say, hey, look what I can do, you can do this too. People misinterpreted that, and so this is another shot at giving people a way to transcend all of those confusing things that happened as a result of that, the wars and everything that's gone on throughout time. So when you move along this path as realizing that there are two rails on this train, on these train tracks, what happens is it's like, since it's already been done and everything's already happened, it's as though we took a movie and a DVD and put it in the DVD player. So that movie already exists, right? Everybody would recognize that you can't buy the movie from the store unless somebody produced it and directed it and the actors acted in it and everything happened, and now you get your disc and you're going to put it in the DVD player. And you're not going to think, wow, this is great, it's happening now as it's going on. You know it's already happened. Yet you have control of the button. You can pause it if you want to. You can, that's when you get really adept. You can decide if you're going to watch a drama or a comedy. So the only thing we really have control of in this experience, where it's already done, where the whole dream has already happened, is whether we decide to have the comedy or the drama. We're pushing the button. That's all it is. So when we use that idea of forgiveness, all we're really doing when we forgive is decide to look at the comedy instead of the drama. And this is not to dismiss people having hard times, but think about it. You know, even I remember the book written by Norman Cousins when he was ill, the Dr. Norman Cousins, and he realized that he had cancer and he had been a doctor for years, and he wanted to heal himself, and he knew the traditional ways of approaching this in his world were not helpful to him. And so he decided that he was going to take another route, and he chose laughter as his medicine. Literally chose laughter. And so, you know, he wrote that book, I think it's Anatomy of an Illness, or it was talking about how he cured himself through laughter. He was playing Three Stooges movies and all the things that were making him focus on the grace. We've said this multiple times, focus on the grace, allow the pain to die of neglect. That's taking this path of love rather than this path of fear. So notice whenever you're choosing within the illusion, anything, whether it's putting up, you know, holiday decorations or whether it's what you're cooking for the holiday meals, notice everything within the dream that you're dreaming, and let yourself notice in the background, in the hum of your heart, in that quiet space within you, is this promoting further love? or is this promoting fear in my dream? Because when we're focused on love in the dream, that's the voice of the divine, the voice of the Holy Spirit, then we have a way that actually vertical insertions can happen along this trajectory. The ego doesn't allow for us to see that. Often these vertical insertions are very well hidden by the ego, and they may come in as experiences of grace, that there can be something that inserts itself as an experience of grace, that you would have wanted it so deeply and weren't aware of it because the ego hid that from you, and you're allowing without fear an insertion of grace. But the insertion of grace is only a window on what's always happened beyond this, when what's already created was created perfectly and has remained perfectly throughout time. And so as we move along this trajectory, you'll notice that when you're focusing on love, whatever that means to you, and something that means love to you might also mean fear to someone else. That's why we can never interfere in anyone else's dream. But if it means love to you and you're focused there, then that very experience will collapse time for you so that your trajectory is going to be very much shortened. A Course in Miracles says over and over that one of its reasons for existing is to collapse time and space for us, that miracles are one way that we can access that very tangibly, that we can experience time and space collapsing very tangibly. But the Course itself, it's a path to shorten the distance between what never really happened, but our belief that it did, that we could be separate from the divine, and our return to that love. So